Hello, welcome to the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies Knowledge Hub interviews. My name is Dr. Lauren England, and I'm one of the UK researchers based at King's College London who's working on the project. I'm here today with Nigerian photographer Bayo Omoboriowo, who's going to be sharing his creative entrepreneurial journey with us. So, Bayo, can I please just get you to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about your career and the areas you work in?
My name is Bayo Omoboriowo. I'm a documentary photographer and an emerging contemporary artist. And what I've done is to build a career in documentary storytelling photography, trying to use different subjects to express myself, addressing social issues, and also helping document history for Africa.
Can you tell me a bit about how your career's developed over the years, from where you started to where you are now?
Basically, it has been a journey of self-development. It has been a journey of discovering myself, learning. The internet has played a huge role in my career, spending a lot of time trying to know what the international perspective is to my craft. I've been very passionate about, pushing myself to be globally relevant. I've been doing a lot of self-development through mentorship, meeting people who are already doing so well in my field, especially on a global scale, learning from them, listening to them, and practicing what I discover, especially with the internet as well. I've learned a whole lot from the internet, and I put this into practice, and that's how I've developed myself. So I always tell people, I didn't go to a photography school, neither did I study photography.
You mentioned, obviously, that the internet's played a big role in shaping your career, but has there been any kind of a key inspiration for you, whether that's about the type of photography or documentary work that you do? Is there anything that really inspires you as a creative?
What inspires me the most is the journey, my own journey in life, and what I want to leave behind for posterity, what I want to leave behind for other creatives, the kind of standard I want to set for the creatives coming behind me inspires me a lot. The kind of legacy I want to leave behind, what perception do I want people to, what do I want people to feel about my work? I want them to understand that excellence is not based on geographical location. So whether we are Black or we are white, whether we are old or young, as long as we are passionate about what we do, and we put into it, we put a prize on it, which includes acquiring knowledge, self-discovery, exposing your mind, and dedicating your energy to your craft, celebrating just what I did yesterday, but I continue to push myself till I become fully convinced within myself that I've given my best while I was on earth. So this is what pushes me. The legacy I'm going to leave behind, the inspiration I'm going to give to other people, both in Nigeria, in Africa, and even on the global scale. And I think that happens. If I travel outside the country, I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, we love your work. You inspire us. We're learning from you. You've shaped who we've become as creatives." And sometimes I'm like, really? Like Nigeria, like how does it happen? But it also gives a sense of fulfillment, knowing that you're actually on the journey to where you really want to go, and your dreams are becoming a reality. So, and I'm also proud to say that I'm not just a Nigerian photographer, but my photography has made me a global creative.
I wanted to ask, if you mentioned sort of that journey for your dreams coming true as a creative, has there ever been a moment for you where you thought, this is my dream come true? Whether is that, you were doing a photography shoot, or you had an exhibition somewhere. Has there been anything that you thought, wow, this is my dream come true?
But in reality, working as the president's photographer is a dream. It's a fulfillment, because I won't say a dream come true, because I never dreamed I would become the president's photographer. So I can't say it's a dream come true, but it's fulfilling to know that in your country you are photographing the number one person. It's quite, and not because photographing in what it has also exposed me to. My camera has photographed the last 3 presidents in America: Biden, President Obama, President Biden, and President Trump. And this is me in the same room with, globally acclaimed world leaders, and I'm in the same space with them, in the same room. Not that I saw them on the way, like in the same room. And I've had I spoke with Obama, I spoke with Trump. I think and I spoke with Biden. Like I spoke with these guys, and for me, it's fulfilling, that my career has helped me, and then the kind of people I've been exposed to, the countries I've visited over 50 countries or maybe 70 countries in the world. These are things that my photography gave me access to. Meeting world leaders, meeting people that the international press want to talk to, want to address, want to interview, and I'm meeting them. I can speak to them. This is what my career as a photographer has opened me to. So it's fulfilling. And having the privilege to then begin to project into a brighter future, using this as my canvas. So this is my reference point. But for me, I'm not yet there. I'm just on the journey. But at least I know that I'm on the plane, I'm on the platform, I'm on the road that will take me to that point.
That's brilliant. And you can really hear how much you want to be an inspiration for others in Nigeria and around the world to pursue a kind of a creative career, which leads me on to asking about a project I know you're working on at the moment, which is Unabashed Foundation. And could you tell us a bit about what Unabashed Foundation is and what you're working on at the moment?
So the vision for Unabashed came because, like I said previously, born out of that passion to transfer knowledge, to inspire a new generation, to deposit energy into these creatives, especially of African descent, and give them a voice. And the vision is to raise creative professionals of global relevance. There are a lot of talents, in Africa who, you find brilliant paint artists, painting on the road and hanging his picture on the road, or selling his artwork in traffic, or selling his artwork by the roadside. And, I'm like, no. And looking at my own journey, I started as a street photographer, photographing in the marketplaces, in the forest, in the bushes, in like everywhere randomly. And my career has grown to a point, that I can proudly say, and I'm unashamed to say, God has been kind to me, and giving me the privilege to say, I am here today. Now, seeing my journey from where I was to becoming the photographer that people can reference, because if you put Bayo Omoboriowo on the internet today, there's a reference. I then want to do the same thing for the creatives, even beyond photography, to give them a platform. And I say, I'm using Unabashed to create a platform where the child of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. I became the president's photographer without knowing anybody. I didn't need to, go through one godfather to become the president's photographer. So I want to replicate the same thing. If you're a paint artist, you're a sculptor, you are a woodwork artist, you are a digital artist, whatever art medium you have, and no matter how crazy your idea is, we'll give you a space. We'll give you the enablement, the platform that you need to be heard, to be seen, and to be celebrated. That is the vision of Unabashed. To be heard, to be seen, to be celebrated, and a platform for you to self-express. And the three components of Unabashed is experimentation, experience, and excellence. We want you to come to Unabashed and experiment. No matter how crazy your idea is, we want you to come and experiment it. We will give you the enabling environment. We'll give you the space. We'll push you. We'll bring international collaborations that would help you. We would get you mentors. We'll bring, and all of this is going to happen. And then we are looking for experience. We want to bring you in connection with people that are already experienced in that field. And they can teach you to get to that point as well. And the last one is excellence. We want you to see creativity not just as something you do just for the sake of doing it, but something that you can dedicate energy to, and you can be celebrated for it, and you can deliver excellence while doing it. And now we're building a facility. We're building the one in Lagos and the one in Abuja. The one in Lagos is about, getting to completion, and in a matter of days should be ready.
Fantastic. Well, we're really excited to see it as well. See, could you talk a bit about what is the hub, the Lagos ones and the one in Abuja, having a physical space, what's going to happen in those spaces?
It's going to be an incubation space for you to just, a blank canvas where you can express yourself. So there's going to be photography studio, painting room, digital editing room. There's going to be, especially the one in Abuja, there's going to be a warehouse where no matter how wild your idea is, this warehouse is big enough to accommodate it. It's big enough to accommodate your idea for you to. And then it's also a place where collaboration can be fostered. You can meet other talents like you. You can share ideas together. You can incubate ideas together, and you can experiment those ideas together. So, and I always say, creativity doesn't succeed in isolation. You cannot do creativity in isolation. You need others. You need to be in an environment where you are inspired, where you saturate yourself with information, where you meet other people, where a word from someone else about what he did on his own art piece can inspire you to deliver something more on your own art piece. So simply put, it's a space where people can come together to share, to be themselves, and to find like minds. So it's not just going to be, but it's a physical space, but it's not just going to be a physical space. It is the people in the space that would actually make it unabashed.
So obviously with that emphasis on collaboration and finding ways to work together, I imagine for Unabashed, for these two sites, that you've been working with quite a lot of other people along the way as part of this journey. Have you done this in partnership with other organizations, and how have you found that experience of collaborating?
What we've done so far has been one, self-funding. Two is also finding organizations that believe in the vision and are willing to support. I've got organizations saying, you know what, we're going to buy you all the air conditioners you need in the space. We've got people saying, okay, you know what, we're going to give you this fund to support this vision. We believe in it. We see what you're trying to do. Go for it. We've seen organizations saying, you know what, let's work together to see how we can provide power, to supply power, solar power to the space to keep the place running. We've seen organizations that says, you know what, we are going to supply you in Lagos and Abuja, we use container shells to build the space. And organizations say, okay, you know what, we ship this in with this container. They are empty now. We are donating it to your center. So it has been a lot of energy from different spaces, different places, and different organizations coming together. But first is self-conviction. I'm convinced that this is what I want to do. I'm convinced that the future of African art and African creativity is in our hands, and the way we shape it is going to determine the future for these young people, and we need to do it. And I'm putting myself on the line to say, I'm going to play a role in making this possible. This is me, this is my passion, this is my energy, and I'm going to be done with the president in few weeks from now. I want to dedicate my energy to empowering the next generation of African creatives. I want them to be heard. I want the world to see them. I want their talents to become something, exceptional on a global scale.
Obviously, this is a huge undertaking, and I want to obviously it's a really exciting, project for you, and has so much potential. I wonder sort of if we're reflecting on the realities of doing these types of, have there been any kind of key challenges that you've come up against, whether that's kind of logistics or, as you mentioned, obviously having to get all of this funding from lots of areas, but have there been any key challenges you faced in developing this foundation?
I think one key thing is always that enabling environment, that environment where, for instance, the one we're doing in Abuja has been, having a lot of, back and forth, especially because people are not even used to this kind of ideas. So people would rather want you to do creative ideas in a mushroom, and it's creativity. And I don't believe in that. I believe if I'm going to do something, it has to be global standard, the ethics, the structure, the organizational principle, everything must be global minded. Because if I say I want to raise creative professionals of global relevance, then the space where they are being developed must be global in nature. So people think, why are you spending so much? Why can't you just do something small in one corner and just let it go? But I believe if I'm going to give birth to the way the chicken gives birth to its babies is not the same way an elephant is going to give birth to its babies. It's totally different. And I'm not trying to birth chicken creatives. I want to birth lions. I want to birth elephants. I want to bet like all the, I don't know what you call the biggest animals in the world. That is what I want to bet in creative. So the challenge has been people first realizing that what you're trying to do is different. And I'm trying to also stay relevant, because I can't bet excellent creatives if me and myself, I'm not pushing myself to be excellent. I'm not going to create a space where creatives are being. So it's been a whole, this 2023, 6 years after, and I'm just getting to completion. And that's been bad. COVID also came. COVID, delayed us a while. The school, the one in Lagos is the University of Lagos. So the school was shut down due to COVID. We had to slow down. There were several times that the funds didn't come. I've written proposals. Oh, Laura, you need to see the letters and proposals and materials I've written. And then you see the organ. I travel, go for meetings, and the organizations will call you and say, come, we're going to meet with you. I remember sitting down for a meeting with an organization, and the lady I was meant to be meeting me with told me to sit down, and she was receiving a phone call for over an hour. I traveled from Abuja to Lagos to come and meet this lady, and she was on the phone for 1 hour, and I sat down waiting for her. And then I went back again, and then came back again, traveled again to go to the same organization. I traveled like 3 times to do meetings, proposal. They told me, go and edit the proposal, come back. And at the end of the day, Lauren, they didn't give me a dime. A dime. They didn't give me one furniture. So it was quite discouraging. And I've written proposals. I will go for meetings, go to different people, pleading, showing them, doing presentations on what I'm trying to do for creatives. And some of them will say, we'll get back to you. And they will never get back to you. But I'm convinced about what I want to do. So I'm not discouraged. I know it's not, doing something excellent comes with a price. And I'm willing to pay the price because I know the talent. And I've seen the little one I've done, because I had to rent a 3-bedroom apartment to test run the model. And I saw how the creative careers of these young people skyrocketed within 2 years. So between 2017 and 2019, I tested the model and I saw what happened to these creatives in 2 years. A lot of them now are so proud of themselves. A lot of them now are working in high places. Some of them have even moved out of Nigeria and are expressing themselves, doing amazing works around the world. I feel fulfilled. Some of them are working with international agencies now. And this is just something I tested within 3-bedroom space, within a space of 2 years. And I'm proud of myself. So that's why I'm convinced. So my conviction is not coming from hypothesis or theory. It is coming from reality that I have experienced, And at that point, I had to pay. I paid for the house, paid the house rent, furnished the accommodation for them, put everything they needed, gave them my gadgets for them to begin to experiment. And today I'm proud of where they are. So if I've done that in that little space, imagine what I can do when the space is properly structured. It's
amazing that you've got that proof of concepts program in it. I can imagine that gives you a lot of strength and a reminder of your convictions and why you're doing it. And it's so great to hear how obviously your passion for supporting others as well is really clear, I think, in everything that you've shared. You mentioned that one of the projects is based at the University of Lagos. Obviously, part of the AHSCE project is looking at these connections between higher education and the creative economy. You mentioned yourself that you never went through formal education for photography, but I know obviously you've been through a postgraduate program. So I wondered if you could reflect a bit on what you see the role of higher education being in supporting the development of the creative economy.
Education is life. Education exposes your mind, makes you see, makes you more, inspires you to do more. And I was at King's College, and I can tell you, it changed my perception about life, changed my perception about my craft, first as a creative myself, and then changed my perception about what I'm willing to deliver. Before my vision was, to just inspire creatives generally. But guess what now? My vision has been refurbished to inspire the creatives of the future. What we see about creativity that we've seen so far up until 2022 is the creativity of the past. From 2023 into the future is the creativity of the future. So the Mad House, which is what the University of Lagos Creative Hub is called, is looking for mad creatives, people that are mad, people that people will call crazy, like your idea is crazy, because the future is going to be crazy. You can see what the AI world is doing. That's its creativity. The creativity of the future is going to be wild. So I think for me, education has shaped my perspective to life. It has exposed my mind. It has helped me to see my world from a different light. And I'm no longer seeing my world just from a local point of view, but from an international point of view. And now I'm ready to attend to these other creatives through Unabashed, bringing them into my world, and also ensuring that the foundation of what they express themselves as is in so much on education. Because a lot of times creatives think, oh, I just want to be creative. I don't need education. I just want to be creative. Allow me to express myself. But guess what? Education is not just about the four walls of the classroom. Education is about exposure. The more educated you are, the more exposed your mind is. And the more exposed your mind is, the better your chances of seeing. So you're seeing the world from a bigger lens. So I can simply say, the more educated you are, the more exposed you are, and the more exposed you are, the bigger your lenses become, because you can then see the world from a bigger, viewpoint.
Every educator in the world is clapping right now, including myself. Is perfect, and it's great to hear, obviously, how your experiences have also fed into your practice. I think we covered this slightly in the beginning, but I'm going to take advantage, I think, of what is a strong connection at the moment, say, to sort of ask a slightly repeating question, which is, can you tell me a bit about what have been some of the most rewarding aspects of your career so far?
I tell people, so for instance, working with the president, I've got a lot of people saying, oh, he's so privileged. He flies on the same plane with the president around the world. He meets world leaders. He knows all the big men. I'm like, no. And then he has money. They say that as well. He has money. He has, And I say, no, that's not the biggest reward. The biggest reward for me is knowledge. What I know today cannot be found in pages of books. Or maybe I would have to buy like 500 books to now find each of them in pieces. Because I've sat down in rooms with political leaders. I've seen their behaviors. I've seen their shortcomings. These are things that will never be written in books. While photographing, I've observed the atmosphere and the aroma in the room when it comes to leadership, both big and small, both local and international. I know what it means to comport myself as an individual. I know what it means to communicate. I know what it means to put myself together in different situations, when I need to be sober, when I need to be silent, when I need to be serious, when I need to be firm, when I need to be aggressive. These are things that my career in the last 8 years has taught me. And much more than that, the discipline for greatness. Because it's not just about being great. There's a discipline that will help you to sustain it. So as a creative, when you become celebrated, how do you even manage it? How do you manage that relevance? How do you ensure that you sustain success? Because it's not just about being successful. To sustain the success is another point. These are things that the last 8 years of my career as a photographer has taught me. So not necessarily teaching me to take pictures, because it has actually taught me how to take better pictures. Because my career, my eyes, the eyes through which I see as a photographer, has been influenced by my mind. So the things I know has influenced my mind. My mind has influenced my eye. My eye has influenced what I click with the camera. So you can see the growth. So first is my mind.
And you can see there how that ties in with that idea of education being so important, broadening your mind, exactly. But also the education you've received through your career and that experience of being there in these rooms with leaders, and how you can learn from that is incredible. And I wonder, on that basis, you've talked a lot about some of the skills that you've developed as a professional working in these sort of very kind of, in some cases, I'm sure, quite high stakes, quite high pressured environments. Are there any particular skills that you think are key for someone starting out on their creative journey, if they've got those ambitions to become a successful creative professional in whatever field? Do you think there are particular skills that are really important?
You can be a successful creative without an ability to communicate. You can't be a professional photographer without your ability to communicate. You can't be a successful creative without, okay, don't let me use the word you can't be, but it's good for you to be good in communication. Your communication skills should be, great. Your ability to have interpersonal relationships with others should be great. You're interfacing with people, your ability to relate should be great. Your work ethics must be exceptional. For instance, you can't be late to my event and you're my photographer, and the event started and the couple at the wedding have already cut the wedding cake, and then you come in because you got trapped in traffic. So there's discipline is a skill that you must have. Discipline. You must also have the basic thing called financial principle. You must have the ability to manage finances. Because for everything you make as a creative, if you don't reinvest in your craft, you're going to go down the drain. So you must invest in your gadgets. You must invest in your tools, work tools. You must invest in your materials. These are all the things that come together to make a great creative from my own experience.
Some brilliant advice there. I think as we usually like to sort of round off with one of these questions. If you could offer one piece of advice to someone starting out on their creative journey, maybe they've just started out and they're looking to develop their skills, or perhaps they're looking to take their career in a new direction, is there one piece of advice that you would offer?
Don't give up too quick. If you fail, go for it again. Quitters never win. If you quit, you don't win. If you fail, go for it again. And if you fail again, go for it again. And don't be too quick to succeed. Most times, everybody wants to succeed in a hurry. There is a process and there's a journey, and you must go through that journey.